Hello, everyone. My name is José Mendoza, and today I will try to share with you a bite of my survival history in multicultural environments. First of all, let me start with a small history about a very young boy who was always asking a lot of different questions. And for those having small children in your family, I think you know what I'm talking about when a child comes and why? So why mother is like that? Why father is like that? Why? And it's something only about curiousness. So why things and world works like it simply does. So this small kid was going to his mother, Mom, why is your food the best? Why like it so much here in our house? Our garden is beautiful. So the answers from their mother, from the grandfather, from whoever it was, because we are really liking the way we do it, because here we have the best tomatoes, wherever it is. And indeed what was happening was that this kid was receiving this idea of everything that is here in my house, in my country, is simply the best. So this is the story not of a simple guy. This is my history indeed. And it happened that I grew up thinking that my country, regardless what was out there, was the best. So Mexico was the best country, had the best food, had the best people, had the best hearts, whatever it is. And this really led me just to develop my curiosity about comparing my country with other countries. And I started reading, and I started looking at photos, videos, etc. And then my really journey in the world started. So I started to travel, I started to go there, and it was very, very nice, actually, in the beginning, because I was doing the tourist stuff. So just being for a couple of days there, then moving around, and it was very, very nice. And it happened that I could stay longer in a single place. And when it was about staying a little bit longer, it indeed happened that what I was thinking about, it's great, what was becoming a real hell. And this is basically because I was starting comparing a lot of things and still believing that only my country had the best things. So depending on the country I was living in, I was just asking myself, well, where are my hot chili peppers? Where are my tortillas? What can I do find there? It's too hot, it's too cold. The police is too hard. There is no police at all. So it was really a lot of comparisons related only to my country and to the thing I thought it was the best thing in the world. And I was having a really bad time indeed, because I felt lost. I felt I was completely away from home, having these things, or not having these things I was used to. And I remember I was in the airport in Frankfurt, and I was looking at different people going, running, crying, smiling, saying goodbye. And I was looking at a lot of people also talking to their children. And I suddenly had this image about myself a couple of years ago, having this input from my family, basically. And when I saw this kid talking to his grandmother, I thought, well, maybe he's having basically the same kind of questions I had, and maybe he's receiving the same input I was having, in which he was simply starting believing its country, its food, its weather, whatever it is, it's the best. And this brought me to a kind of reflection, say, maybe there is something very interesting out there, and I haven't been clever enough to go out and discover it. And basically, that time, I use it just to make a kind of switch in my mindset. And this happened actually something like 10 years ago, in which this switch in the mindset started helping me just to think things differently, and just to understand that I was missing a lot of opportunities out there. So basically, coming back to the title of the presentation, multicultural working environments, big challenge, big opportunities. They are both of them. I will start with what I consider are the challenges in here. And those are basically, in my opinion, two of them. And I choose those two not because only there are two, because I think they are the key ones to consider when willing to switch into a multicultural working environment. The first one is definitely related to communication. And here I think we can consider, for instance, the language. So just to be able to work or to go to a certain place, you need to be able to express yourself. And here, normally, we know that the international language is English, but also we need to understand how to adapt to this language. If we are native, we need to understand that there are people not native, maybe not necessarily understanding everything we want to say. So I think that also it presents a challenge for a native English speaker to adapt the language or the way he uses languages to other people. And if we are not, of course, to be able to develop the languages or the verbs, wherever we need to express ourselves correctly. And the other thing is a little bit more related on maybe body language or maybe some cultural aspects we need to consider. And just to provide a small example, in Poland, for example, it's very common to hear, "That's not bad," which means that this is good. And if I could hear this in Mexico, that would mean you are above the average. So that's not good at all. So it's really the way in which we interpret these things that can help us or can prevent us to move fluently into this world. Talking about some other physical things, for example, when I was in China, I was just having this tea pot on the table. And I was told, don't do that because I was with people. I say, don't do what? So basically, don't point the teapot against someone because it's completely disrespectful. So it's very tiny things which can help or cannot help. The second aspect are stereotypes. And I think we cannot help imagine some certain of scenarios and images, like, for example, all Chinese people are Kung Fu masters, or all Mexican people are riding donkeys, for example. If I go to my native Mexico, we say all Europeans are cold-hearted. So those guys have no feelings at all. So basically, I would like to share you, there is no such thing as stereotypes because there are different kinds of people everywhere, different mentalities, different approaches, and those don't really rely to a certain country. And I put this image here just to showcase a little bit of how Latin Americans think about Europe. So basically it relates to dancing and whatever. And my only point here is just get rid of those stereotypes. So simply go there, learn from the people, do not judge from their origin or the origin we think they have, because a face, a race, a color of skin is not really showing us what these people can or can do not. The second point is related to the opportunities we have. And basically here, the key word is those are infinite. We have different things we can get from international environments. And those can be from getting a really nice job abroad, understanding better mentalities, going and traveling, and understanding better not doing only the tourist stuff according to the book, adapting to different situations, bringing know-hows to a single place, and maybe even also, like in my case, finding your second half in a way you couldn't imagine. So for me, it was 9,000 kilometers away from home. So in any cases, I can go on with examples, but the idea for me is basically to get the necessary tools to break barriers and to go out and look for the success. So we are right now in a position in we need to make use of the languages. We talk to different people. And I know it's not easy, but the only reflection I invite you to is open your eyes, open your mind, and open yourself to new possibilities. I would like only to share this last phrase with you, which I very, very much like, just to invite you what I have just said. So my name is José Mendoza. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening.
Do you have any, Jose? Maybe somebody, maybe somebody would like to share some insights with you about the topic. Yes, maybe somebody has a different approach to the dish. So thank you, Jose. If nobody has any, yeah, right, sure.
Jump in here just to put you on the spot here a little bit. I guess one of the questions I would have is that from time to time at SDX Next, we definitely have developers, testers from definitely outside of Poland. What are the things that they could keep in mind before joining a development team here in mind, or what sort of things should they keep in mind or prepare for?
Well, I think that in my opinion, the first fear always appearing is the language barrier. So maybe a lot of people think, I don't have the necessary language skills to jump into a conversation with a client or with colleagues. So I think we need to erase that thing from our heads. And I will share something my father experienced a couple of years ago. And he was already an adult, and he was not speaking properly English back then. And he was in an elevator with the CEO of the company he was working for, and he was completely afraid about saying something. And finally, this guy asked something to my father, and he started, oh, sorry for my English, but sorry for what? No, because I think I can make some mistakes. Say, I would kill to speak at least a quarter of Spanish than do in English. So I think this language barrier is more in our head than basically in our thoughts. So in our tongue. So I think that would be the first advice I could give.
And can we expect a little dancing tonight? Some Latin dance moves at the banquet?
I'm Mexican. I'm supposed to dance.
All right, that's all. Thanks.